Every so often, a crime happens that just doesn't make into headlines. It digs into your mind. A body folded into a fridge. A family slaughtered, and the killer stays for ice cream. A girl disappears, only to be found in a sealed tank no human should access. These stories aren't just unsolved, they are unnatural. They feel wrong. And long after the police give up, they still linger. These are 5 most disturbing unsolved crimes ever recorded, and they will haunt you. Case 1. Elisa Lam, 2013, Los Angeles. The Cecil Hotel, once the home of suicides, serial killers, and screams in the night, it now had a different story. Elisa Lam was a 21-year-old Canadian student on a solo trip to California. She kept a blog, talked about her bipolar disorder openly, and seemed like any other curious traveler. But during her stay at the Cecil Hotel, things took a turn. On January 31st, Elisa vanished. Just like that. No witnesses, no clues, just gone. 2 weeks later, guests began complaining the water pressure was low, the water was dark, and it tastes strange. Maintenance workers climbed to the roof to check the tanks. What they found was Elisa's body, naked and decomposed. But how did she get there? The tanks were locked, the alarms never triggered, and the lids were too heavy to close from the inside. Then came the elevator footage. The video showed Elisa behaving erratically. She pressed multiple buttons, steps in and out of the elevator, peeks into the hallway like she's been followed, makes odd, jerky hand gestures, like she's speaking to someone invisible. People were captivated, convinced that she was running from something or someone. Some claimed that she was just having another mental health episode. Others saw something darker: possession, stalking, maybe even paranormal interference. Officially, her death was ruled as an accidental drowning due to her mental state, but the questions never stopped. Who or what was Elisa running from? Why was the elevator behaving strangely? How did she get into a sealed tank on a restricted roof without anyone seeing her? To this day, we have no answer to this mystery, only the haunting image of a girl trapped in the moment forever. In the quiet suburb of Satayaga, the Miyazawa family was preparing for the new year, but the happiness was temporary, because that night they were brutally slaughtered. The father, Mikio, was stabbed in the head and neck repeatedly. The mother, Yasuko, and their 8-year-old daughter, Nina, were stabbed as well. The youngest, 6-year-old Rei, was strangled. I'm reading it from a script right now, okay, and these are like really disturbing. But it was what happened after the murder that disturbed the investigators to their core. The killer didn't flee, he stayed. He raided the fridge, ate an ice cream, used the family's computer, changed clothes, used the bathroom, but didn't flush. He even took a nap on the couch before leaving casually, sometimes in the next morning. He left behind over 100 pieces of evidence, fingerprints, bloody clothes, even feces, and yet no match. The DNA didn't fit anyone from Japan's criminal database or neighboring countries. His shoes were traced to a limited release sold mostly in Korea. Theories ran wild. Was it a deranged stranger, a military trained killer, or someone known to the family? Over 2 decades later, the case remains unsolved. The house left untouched, preserved, like a time capsule, as if the horror never left. Because this wasn't just a murder, it was an invasion, a calculated, cold annihilation. The killer didn't just take their lives, he made himself at home. and then he disappeared. Case 3. The Boy in the Box. February 1957, Philadelphia. A college student stumbles across a cardboard box in the woods. When he looked inside, it was a body of a little kid, naked and bruised. His hair was freshly chopped, with chunks missing. He had bruises on his face and body. His hands were wrinkled, suggesting he'd been submerged in water. A faded blanket was covering him. The media dubbed him the Boy in the Box. The police dressed him up and released post-mortem pictures to the public. They printed flyers, knocked on every door, checked every orphanage, every school, every hospital. But no one recognized him. No one claimed him. He had no name. For 65 years, he remained a ghost. In 2022, a miracle happened. Through DNA genealogy, he was finally identified as Joseph Augustus Zerilli, born in 1953. But the name solved nothing. His parents both were dead. All we have is this story: a child beaten, hidden, and discarded. His grave marker used to read America's Unknown Child. Now it reads Joseph Augustus Zerilli. But the question remains: who hurt him? And why did no one come looking for him? Case 4. The Icebox Murder. Police were asked to do a welfare check on Fred and Edwina Rogers, an elderly couple who hadn't been seen in couple days. When the officers entered their home, they found something that they were not expecting. In the kitchen inside the refrigerator were human remains, containers filled with organs. Legs and arms were stacked like meat. The heads were stuffed into the vegetable drawer. But the horror didn't end there. Their son, Charles Roger, was missing. His bedroom was perfectly clean, floor scrubbed, no fingerprints, no blood, just a single note on the table that read, "Don't look for me." Neighbors said that he was reclusive, a loner, obsessed with maps and radios. Some claimed that he was involved in intelligence work. Others say that he went mad. No one ever saw him again. Theories suggest that he fled to South America, or was killed by CIA, or never existed at all. But here's what we know. 2 people were butchered, their remains crammed into a fridge, and the man who is most likely responsible vanished, gone. There's something chillingly cynical about the whole scene. Case 5. The Katy Cabin Murders. April 11th, 1981, Katy, California. Cabin 28. A small rundown vacation home in a remote mountain community. Sue Sharp had moved in there with her 5 children after an abusive relationship. It was supposed to be a new start, but the happy feeling didn't last long. That night changed everything. Inside the cabin, Sue, her teenage son John, and his friend Dana were found brutally murdered. They were tied with electrical cords, beaten with a hammer, stabbed. The blood was everywhere, splattered across the wall and ceiling. A bent steak knife was left behind, but it gets worse. Sue's 12-year-old daughter, Tina, was missing. She wasn't found for more than 3 years, but then her bones were scattered miles away. 2 younger boys were left unharmed in a nearby room, asleep. The investigators bungled the case. Evidence disappeared. Tapes were accidentally erased. Suspects were known to the family. Some were even interviewed, but never arrested. Theories suggested a targeted hit. Others say it was sadistic opportunity of a crime. But what makes the Katy family murder so disturbing isn't just the violence. It's the sense that everybody knew who did it. That the truth was buried alongside Tina. And that in the small town, evil was allowed to go free. Hey guys, I think this was a small video. I'm currently recording it. If you like this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, cause as you can see, it's a really small channel. I'm trying to make it more entertaining day by day. I'm trying to produce more content, and I will really appreciate if you help me to this journey. Please help me reach 1,000 subscriber. I will really appreciate that, and leave a comment what you will like to watch next. Check out my other videos. I have a couple other videos including Iceberg reaction videos. Okay guys, bye. Leave a comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm Capril. Bye.